Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alexey, and today what we're gonna be doing is drums mix preparation. So first of all, let's have a listen to our raw drums. So for now, these drums have tons of bleed, and in today's video we're gonna be cleaning our drums before we start mixing our drums. So for instance, let's have a listen to our kick. As you can hear, besides our kick, we have some additional information in our kick audio file, so we can hear some hi-hats or overheads, and we can hear some snare on the background of our kick. And I want to have only clean kick sound, without any extra noises and without any bleed. Again, for instance, if we have a listen to our Tom 2 track, we can hear some bleed in our Tom 2 track. So you can hear some additional information in our Tom 2 track, which is called bleed, and I want to have only clean tom sounds in our toms audio tracks. And now we are going to start working on our drums to make our drums sound as clean as possible. So first of all, let's create some MIDI drums out of our drums audio tracks. So let's start with our first kick, and to create a MIDI drum file out of our audio drum file, we are going to use Slate Digital Trigger 2. So when we have our Slate Digital Trigger 2 on our kick audio file without any samples, we have no audio from our Trigger 2. So in this case we have to use any drum sample for our kick if we want to hear a sound from our kick audio file. Let's go to a browser. We can turn on Audition and we can listen to the kicks. For instance, let's choose kick for Z3. Now let's go back to our triggering window and let's have a listen to our kick audio file once again. So now we can hear our kick audio file, and we can hear our kick audio file without any bleed. But we want to create a MIDI kick file out of our kick audio track. So first of all, before we start creating a kick MIDI file, let's bring dynamics all the way to the 0. Now let's play our kick sample and let's adjust detail here. So after listening to our kick sample, we have to create a MIDI file. So to create a MIDI file in Studio One, we have to click plus sign here. Then we have to choose instrument, let's call it kick MIDI, and let's hit OK. So now here we have created our kick MIDI file. And in our Slate Digital Trigger 2, we have MIDI capture mode, and we have to drag our MIDI information to our kick MIDI file. So now we have a kick MIDI file, and as you can see we have different levels of velocities. Now, by using this technique, I'm going to create MIDI files for our second kick and for our snare. Now, let's talk about our toms. So again, we have to use Slate Trigger 2 on our tom. So in this case, I'm going to be using Slate Trigger 2 on our tom 1. Let's open View Curves and let's bring dynamics all the way down. Now again, let's have a listen to our tom 1 and let's adjust detail. Now let's create a new MIDI file. Again, let's hit plus sign here. Let's choose instrument. Let's call it tom MIDI and let's drag and drop our MIDI information from our tom 1 MIDI file. And now let's do the same trick for our tom 2, tom 3 and tom 4 audio files. So now we have created MIDI files for our kicks, snare, and toms. And let's use these MIDI files to create key spikes for our drums. So first of all, let's rename our MIDI files. For instance, let's rename our kick MIDI to key spike kick 1. And also let's rename our MIDI files here as well. So for instance, let's rename our first MIDI file to key spike kick 1. So in this case we have to use right click of our mouse and choose rename events. And now let's rename all of our MIDI files as well. So now we have our MIDI files with right names. So now let's start creating key spikes. So to create a key spike for our MIDI drums, we are going to use again Slate Trigger 2. And here I already have key spike trigger 2 file. So let's have a listen to our key spike kick 1. The same key spike file we have to use for all of our MIDI drums we have created. So for instance, let's have a listen to our snare key spike. Let's have a listen to our tom 1 key spike. So right now all of our key spikes sounds the same, and I'm gonna put a link in the info box of this video to download a key spike file for Slate Trigger 2 from official website. Now let's convert our MIDI files to audio files. So now we have audio files of our key spikes. So let's listen to our key spikes. To make our key spikes sound louder, we can normalize audio files. So in this case we have to use right click and normalize audio. So now all of our key spikes are normalized. Now let's talk about how we can use our key spikes for our drums to get rid of the bleed in our drums. So first of all, let's open our mixer window. And again, let's have a listen to our kick audio file. So you can still hear the bleed in our kick audio file, and now we're gonna be using our key spike kick 1 to get rid of the bleed in our kick audio file. But first of all, we have to create no output for all of our key spikes. So in this case, we should go to Song, Sound Setup, Audio Setup, Outputs. Here we should click Add Stereo. Here we should bypass output 1 and output 2. And we can name it like no output. And hit apply and hit OK. Now here we can choose our no output for our key spikes audio files. And let's go back to our kick 1. Let's solo our kick 1. And let's solo our key spike kick 1. On our kick audio file, we can use any gate plugin. So in this case, I'm gonna be using Kilohertz Gate plugin. And first of all, let's sidechain our kick audio file to our key spike kick 1 file. Here, let's use pre-fader mode. And now we have to adjust threshold on our kick audio file to get rid of the bleed in our kick audio file. So now our kick audio file sounds much cleaner. Let's do the same for our second kick. Again, let's choose any gate plugin, and I'm gonna be using again Kilohertz Gate. Let's sidechain our kick right to our key spike kick 2. Here, let's use pre-fade. Let's solo our key spike kick 2, and again let's adjust threshold on our kick right audio file. Let's do the same trick for our snare tab. Again, let's choose our Kilohertz Gate. Let's sidechain our snare tab audio file to our key spike snare. Let's use pre-fade mode and let's adjust our threshold. And the same trick we can do for our toms. Also, I want to show you one more way how we can clean our toms. So in this case, we can use volume automation. So now we have applied some volume automation to our tom 1, and let's have a listen to our tom 1. So now we can bounce to new audio track, and here we have much cleaner our tom 1 audio track. So now, after cleaning off our drums, let's have a listen to our drums one more time. So now our drums sound much cleaner, and right now we can start mixing our drums. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video will be useful for you, and see you next time.